Hello, YouTube. Okay, so, yeah, while I was out on vacation, 2 episodes of Star vs. the Forces of Evil have aired, so we're going to talk about both of them. So, for the first one, it's Career Day, and now Star and Marco go to meet Mr. Calendar, who's their guidance counselor. He tells Star, yeah, you're just gonna be queen. You have no other options for careers in life. Yeah, no, you're just gonna be queen. You can't just, not be queen or do something that'll make sure that you're not queen. No, you're just destined to be queen. And this one guy saying this puts Star all in a funk because he said it. Yeah, some random guy says, hey, yeah, your future's set in stone. Better believe that. So, yeah, she's in a funk about that. And Marco hears that, he's gonna be a janitor. Yeah, even though he has a really good grade point average, he's gonna become a janitor. Of course, he's not buying into this like Star is, so he goes to meet Mr. Calendar, who apparently is in allegiance with Tom, that demon guy who had a thing for Star. Yeah. What a random way to tie him back into the show. And apparently, Tom's master plan is to find out if Star and Marco are dating. Because I guess that there were hints of that. I never saw it. Well, then again, I didn't even notice that Inuyasha and Kagome had a thing going on. So, yeah, I might not be the best one to judge on this. So, yeah, apparently Tom saw something, but luckily for him, Star and Marco don't have anything. Yay, I was right! And apparently after hearing that, Marco decides that he's gonna go sneak into Mr. Calendar's office and then just sort of say that him and Star do have a thing. Just to annoy Tom. Don't know why he needs to do that. He says when Tom busts into the room that they're busted, but you already had confirmation of that. Why did you need double? Were you supposed to be filming it or something, and were you gonna give it to the school board? I don't know what your plan was here, but okay. Now Tom has found out, so he decides to torture Marco. Jesus, okay. This could actually be interesting, but apparently his torture is just spinning him around for a little bit. And then making him play ping pong. The worst torture ever. Playing ping pong. But apparently, yeah, now he's got to play to get out with his life, and also so that then Tom can tell Star that he lied. And speaking of Star, she's apparently gone very dark, as now she's planning on cutting off the tail of a mermaid. Okay. Just so that she doesn't have to become queen. I don't know why that's a rule that means that you can't become queen, but okay. Although I do at least find what's going on with Star kind of funny, as yeah, when she's looking in that book, it's freaking hilarious. Like, there's one of the pages that say, a queen must never be comfortable. That is hilarious. And for some odd reason, they keep on making it that she can't be happy because she's gonna be queen. Why? I mean, okay, she's gonna be queen. Why does that mean that happiness can't be a thing for her? I really don't get that. But anyway, Marco is losing very badly at ping pong, but then him and Tom, sorry, just sort of have a natural conversation. They just sort of talk. And to be honest, this kind of reminded me of that scene in the books of Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, the second one where he's talking to that one guy who's a movie actor, I forgot his name. When he's talking to him, it just reminded me of that scene, where they're just sitting down and talking. And I gotta say, it's actually kind of a good scene. And so that makes Todd realize, oh yeah, I've been an idiot. So he goes to take Marco back to visit Star and everything. And Star has cut all her hair and is dressed like some emo. I don't know why. And I guess Todd saying, hey, I'm sorry, just sort of fixes all their problems. And the mermaid dies, I guess. I don't know. Something breaks the mermaid's tank and she's flapping on the floor like a dying fish. So, yeah, I'm guessing that she died. So, yeah. She's probably dead now. So, yeah, that's a bummer. So, for the next one, we then have Marco having a nightmare about not moving on in life. I don't know. I guess that's been a big issue for him, even though it's never been addressed. And the way for him to move on in life is by getting a red belt in karate. What? Okay, so while Marco's trying to get a red belt, Star goes looking for a hammer. So then she can nail a poster to her wall. She could just use magic for this, but nah, she doesn't want to. So, yeah, that's that. That's pretty much it. Really, that's it. That's the episode. Marco goes looking for a red belt. He wants to go get a red belt. His sensei was apparently not even a red belt, even though he wears one. What a liar. And Marco decides that they need to go get a tape so then they can watch that, even though they could just watch an instructional video online. But no, I guess those can't be found online, so instead they need to go find a VHS of it. Even though they already have a VHS, Marco even suggests a reasonable idea, which is just get the tape out and reel it back up. Why don't they do that? I really don't get it. The sensei says, well, okay, yeah, I have a VHS tape about how to do that, but it got stuck in the VHS tape. Does Marco need that? No, I don't think he does. It's very simple to get out, actually. As someone who had a lot of VHS tapes, yeah, they've gotten stuck before, and it's really easy to get out. And hey, you can use a pencil to reel the tape back up. Woo! So, yeah. They never think to do that. They instead decide the better option is just searching random thrift stores until they find this tape, which is apparently very rare. But then they get to a place that sells rare VHS tapes. How convenient. And I will say it is actually kind of funny what happens there, and that, yeah, the guy who owns the store, he looks like one of those people who lives their whole life online and just never gets up or anything. And I will say it is a good twist that when he does stand up, he's actually very, very in shape and everything. That was pretty funny. And the fight between him and Marco is pretty cool. But, yeah, it's pretty much all that happens there. So, what do I think about these two episodes? They're okay. Yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say. I will at least say that the one about the guidance counselor and Mr. Calendar, that one's actually pretty okay and does have some interesting ideas. Like, with how Star is dealing with that whole entire I'm gonna be queen one day and there's no way out of it thing. That's actually a pretty interesting idea, but unfortunately, it doesn't take much of the focus of the episode. Most of the focus is on Marco and Tom just sort of sitting around playing ping pong, and while that is okay and it is nice to see them just sort of sit down and talk, it still would be more interesting to focus on Star and, oh, I don't know, actually see what she's doing as she's going through a very big midlife crisis here. Well, okay, not midlife, but she's not really in her midlife, but she's still going through a crisis here about yeah, it's something that is a pressing issue. And they've actually established this on this show before, that she doesn't want to be queen and the worries of actually taking on that responsibility. They brought that up before, and yet an episode that's actually going to focus on it, it doesn't really focus on it. Instead, they just focus on something that people watching the show would probably just say, oh yeah, this happened, they're totally dating, even though they're not. So yeah, I don't know why that was a major focus of this episode, but it was very strange, to say the very least. And then in the second episode, it's really boring. Really, everything going on with this red belt and everything, it just got very boring. I mean, okay, yeah, I guess it's a good idea. It's like, okay, woo, we have Marco finally try to move on, and you know what? No, he does not have permission to move on. I'm sorry. This is something that I noticed in this episode that I remembered from episode 1, or, well, okay, a few episodes back in season 1, that Marco said that he's a green belt with a stripe. At least that was accurate, but you can't move on to your next belt unless if you have 2 stripes. As someone who has taken karate, I only got up to a yellow belt, I do know that that is something that you have to do, and I liked that accuracy in that one episode, as it was actually something that does happen. You do need to get 2 stripes. And yeah, I liked how they brought that into an episode, as most shows will just ignore that. But then they completely ignore it again and just decide, well, let's just move him right onto a red belt, even though he only has 1 stripe on his green belt. Unless if he got another stripe in between, then I don't know how he's actually gonna move on. But apparently, since the sensei is a complete idiot, I guess that's why. Seriously, his sensei here is very out of character. Mainly because, remember that one episode with the monster arm? Yeah, that was still the best episode of the show. But remember how in that episode, oh yeah, the sensei had a character that he set up already. He was pretty funny and took his job very, very seriously. That was a part of his character. Now in this episode, he doesn't. He does the exact opposite of what his character was in that episode. Why? Either he was out of character in that episode, or he's out of character in this episode, and that's very confusing. That's not how you set up a show. That's not how that's supposed to be set up or done. And I don't know why they did it. It really didn't seem needed, but apparently, yeah, they just really want to mess around and do this. And even what they do with the sensei here, it's not that funny. I mean, okay, at first it's kind of funny, but then it just gets really old and pretty annoying, to be honest. So, yeah. I don't know why they did it. But as for these 2 episodes, the second one with the red belt, that one I really didn't enjoy. I thought I would, but it was really not that great an episode, and I think that they could have done better. There are some funny twists in it, although there were also some very confusing things, like, why don't they actually have a hammer? Who doesn't have a hammer? I have hammers. We have hammers at our house. We have more than one, actually. Why don't they have a hammer? Every other house I've been to has had a hammer. I really don't get why this is an issue. They also don't have any nails. What if you need to hammer something together? What are you guys gonna do? Really, I don't get that. Why don't they have hammers? Most people have hammers. Why was this an issue? But, yeah. I don't know. Just, that was a minor thing. But the episode before with the guidance counselor and career day, that one did have some interesting ideas, and I will say, as an episode goes, it's okay, and it does have its funny moments. It's definitely probably the best episode out of season 2 so far, but yeah, it wasn't that great either. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't really that great, and nothing really happened that was all that pressing in it. But there were some interesting ideas being brought to the table at last, and I would like to see the show go more in depth with some of them. So after that, we have the next episode. Marco decides that it's time to teach Star how to ride a bike. A very important issue, as you can tell. And she's actually really good the first time. I wish I was like that when I learned how to ride a bike. And the only problem is that she doesn't know how to stop. So, yeah, she pretty much just goes riding through the whole city and doesn't have any control over the bike whatsoever. Because even though she knows how to ride it, she's not that good at actually controlling it. But then when Marco decides, okay, here's how you stop this bike, and when he decides to tell her that, she doesn't want to do it because that's not how they do things on Muni. Really? That's your only reason? You're paddling through traffic here, but you don't want to stop because that's not how you do things where you come from? Freaking idiot! Just stop the bike! But apparently no, this is a very pressing issue and they need to spend a whole episode on it. So, yeah, apparently Star also left behind her wand. Don't know why she left that behind, but okay. And Marco now has to give it back to her, but he doesn't have any transportation to get there. But luckily, Oscar's right outside in his car. Why was he out there? I don't know. He just says, I thought that this was my recording studio. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Sorry. Okay, then. I guess that explains it. So, Marco just sort of says, okay, drive me somewhere, and Oscar just sort of agrees. I don't know why. And then, him and Oscar and Glosserick end up getting distracted. What a shocker. And Marco is pretty much the only one actually focused on helping out Star here. Even Star doesn't really care about saving herself. And then Marco just has to believe in an invisible goat? What? Yeah, Oscar's car gets destroyed. I hope Oscar having to go help out someone he barely knows is worth it to him. And now Marco has to ride an invisible goat, which is how they do things on Muni. And I guess that this invisible goat just followed Star to Earth? I don't know. And eventually Star realizes, oh yeah, I can push the pedals backwards, so then I can actually get the thing to stop. Yeah, she finally decides to do that. Something that she could have done 11 minutes ago, but nope. She just needed to make this episode longer and drag things out. So, yeah, that's that episode. Star learned how to ride a bike. Yay. Will she actually get her own bike? I don't know. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, then for the next one, Star throws her wand and it gets caught by a dog. That's really it. Now she needs to get the wand out of the dog's mouth because it won't let go. And yeah, she kind of can't do that because she's afraid of this dog for some reason. And the dog is very weird and it actually uses the bathroom instead of going outside. I wish my dogs could do that. That would be so much easier. Really, that dog would be amazing to own. It knows how to use the bathroom. I seriously do wish that my dogs do that. I've been having to let them out all day. I wish that they could just walk to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. That would make my life so much easier. But yeah, apparently Star is very, very focused on finding this dog's owner. Because this dog it has her wand and she needs it back. She could just take it back, but no, she just wants to find the dog's owner instead. All the while, Marco is trying to get straw into a juice box. Yeah, very, very pressing issues here. So, yeah, this episode asks the very big question, will Marco get a straw in a juice box? I don't know why that's a pressing question, but eventually, yes, he does. Okay, well, actually, the dog does it, but still, he gets the straw in the juice box. I'm glad that we've resolved this very important issue here. And eventually, Star just finds out that this dog apparently is from a different dimension. How did it get here? And apparently it's going through a midlife crisis about having a troubled mind and just wants a simpler life. I don't know why. And apparently it was trying to use Star's wand to resolve those problems. Don't know why it just didn't try turning itself into a human so then it could just live a normal life. As it already has a human mind, has the ability to talk, and apparently does know about life issues. So yeah, why doesn't it just become human? I don't know. But apparently Star doesn't even think about that, and just decides to give this dog to some random lady in a bush. Seriously, this lady is creepy. Really, this lady is freaking creepy. I would not trust her with a dog. Really, she might be doing experiments on this dog. I don't know. This lady, I just don't trust her. She's freaking creepy. Why does Star trust her with this dog? And then the episode ends. That's really the whole issue. Star learns not to throw her wand at random things anymore. Yay, I'm glad that she's learned that. This episode had no point. Okay, so yeah, as for the second episode, what can you really say about them? They're just kind of pointless, really. I mean, one thing that happens, Star loses her wand, and she needs to get it back. She does. Well, okay, she doesn't even really lose it. She just sort of throws it somewhere and just doesn't want to get it. But then the dog just sort of hands it back to her, so I guess that issue could have been resolved much earlier, and the dog could have just simply, tried using the wand at first glance, or just, actually have asked Star, hey, can you do this for me when they first met? But nope, apparently the dogs want to drag this out too. And I don't know why, it's just very strange. And for the first episode in this one, Star learns how to ride a bike. Good for her. Glad that she knows how to do that now, I guess. Yay. So yeah, that's really it. Nothing really major happens in these episodes. The animation is still good. Got nothing really to say about that. This Star learns how to ride a bike, and a dog gets an owner. Very, very creepy owner. Who lives in a bush. And you probably can't even provide any dog food for this dog, so it's probably gonna die. Just ruined this episode's ending for ya. So, yeah. Nothing really to say about that one. But, yeah, the first episode with Guidance Counselor, that one was definitely the best episode out of these four little episodes, but yeah, it still doesn't really have anything that much to offer. I've sort of noticed this coming trend with this show is that the episodes have been getting worse. Much, much worse. Mainly because they're boring and they drag out plots that don't need to be dragged out. And I don't know why the show is doing that. I mean, at first, they had good episodes. They would at least have one good episode and one okay or bad episode. And now, the bad episodes have just sort of taken the hold of the whole thing. I don't know why. I hope that someone can really resolve this issue soon, because if so, I'm just gonna have to keep on saying this happened and then it was resolved. Yay. But yeah, they keep on running into this very odd trend of having some pretty bad episodes. At least for episode 2's first episode, it was okay, and it at least did have some interesting ideas. They just didn't go all the way with them like they could have. But for the rest of these episodes, they were pretty boring and didn't really have anything else to offer. And even had some contradictions. Sure, there were some funny bits in it, but outside of that, it really didn't bring anything new. So yeah, here's to hoping that the next episodes will be better. Bye.